Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Skypanic. In today's episode, I believe we have some cleanup work to do. We're going to start kind of figuring out what to do with this absolute chaos that is the upper part of the base here. And I think one of the places to start is to kind of figure out what to do with some of these machines that are kind of just scattered about. And with our new void resource miners, I think it's time to say goodbye to our conveyor belt system here. It served its purpose, but we've got a different way to get these resources. So I'm going to tear this all down and set up what we're going to need to put all our machines down here. So I'm going to get to that, and we'll be back in a second. Okay, we're back, and we've done some work. So, got rid of the entire sieving, assembly, and conveyor belts, and hooked up a bunch of our machines, and built this nice metal case around them. Did a bit of chisels and bit stuff to put up this kind of caution tape. So this bank of machines, we've got our alloy smelters, which are hooked up to the these are hooked up to the ME system. You can see back here is a bunch of cables and stuff running that all around. And then on this other bank of machines we have here, we've got this guy who is set to make rich slag. There's an emitter back there which turns this thing on if the rich slag gets less than 100 in the AE system. And basically it just constantly makes clocks and breaks them down in the induction smelter, and it has a 50% chance to produce rich slag. We've got basically unlimited gold because you get, when you break it down, you get the 4 gold back from the clock, and the only thing you lose is the redstone. And we've got chickens that are making ridiculous amounts of redstone, so it's not a problem there. Next we have this magma crucible, which is liquefying coal, which is then pushing it into a fractionating still, which then turns it into nephathia. No idea if that's how to say that. And then that is turned into, it says here refined fuels the output, but actually what it's making it, oops, and now I blocked it. I was supposed to say sulfur. We'll have to put that back up there. Nope, don't have any on us. But basically that is making sulfur again. There's an emitter back here which tells this thing to turn off if there's more than 100 sulfur. Sulfur is also a byproduct of a bunch of the smelting and the resource miners. So this is just a backup in case we do happen to run out of sulfur for whatever reason. I am going to have to do something with this refined fuel because something tells me this guy is not going to do anything else until I empty that out somewhere. Next up, we've got a bank of induction smelters. Now, these are not hooked up to the ME system other than their output, and the ME system is also filling them with sand. But what these are hooked up is to, or what these are hooked up to, is the void resource or void miner output. So any kind of ore that requires smelting is set to go into here. And this will basically, using sand, add that extra ingot. It's one more than if we were to use the Tinker's Construct. And then also there's blazing pyrotheum being filled up. That's being temporarily stored in this tank. And this magma crucible is creating it. The ME system's crafting and feeding pyrotheum dust into it constantly. And then change of directions going this way. We've got a magma crucible taking petroleum dust and melting that down into tectonic, or what does that say? That says, tectonic petroleum, which is fed into the pulverizers here. There's 2 of them here, and these are handling the ores from the resource ore miner that require pulverizing rather than smelting, and then that with the tectonic initiator upgrade, that just gives us a little bit extra output from those. And then our last bank of machines over here on the other side, we have got this guy which is creating gelled cryothium, feeding that into one of these machines, I think. What is it doing with this? Oh no, this is being fed gelled cryothium way from the other side in our cryo lab over there. And what this does is it makes, what is it making? No, I can't remember. Oh yes, it takes the cinnabar and creates the cinnabar slag, which is an alternative to the rich slag. So if something happens and we do run out of rich slag for some reason, we can use our stash of cinnabar. These 2 machines are set up. One is for yellorium and the other one is for zirconium. Using the rich slag again with the augment pyro concentrator, this will produce an extra 2 extra pieces of ore because we're using the rich slag and the augment with the pyrotheum. The pyrotheum is being fed through the ME system through a peer-to-peer fluid duct from this tank all the way over to these guys over here. And then we've got some extra room if we need it. And then a pulverizer, which is hooked up to the ME system anytime we need to on-demand pulverize something. There's a couple recipes back there. And then we finally hooked up our slice and spice. Again, that is automatically being fed from the ME system. There's an interface automatically pumping in shears and iron X. And it has one pattern so far, the ender resonator. Oops, there we go. Put that back. And then, again, more space over here, nothing happening. Now, as far as lighting, that's why we had to set this guy up to be auto crafting, because we made a bunch of these wireless powered lights from Ender.io, and they're inverted. They're being fed by a wireless charger, which is hidden underneath right here. And they add enough light that we don't have any spawn spaces. And I think they look pretty cool. Just for decoration, we added the inverted white lights to the top. You can see we covered the entire roof with these white concrete set to chiseled with panel. There's a bit of work to do here to hide some of this cable, but this cable is actually probably going to get removed when we finish cleaning up upstairs. And then I was playing around with some chiseling bits, and we made this guy kind of toying with the idea of running this entire pillar straight through the base, and what will happen is it will incorporate into the ME controller here. The controller will probably wrap around it and have some kind of structure, and then it'll keep going down and make it kind of look like it's pulling power off of the draconium power ball down here. Let's go back up. And played around with the floor a bit, got rid of the glass since we didn't need all our red net cable down here. We got rid of all that. We don't need the glass to show it off. And then it's all concrete, chiseled, so we have the speed boost when we walk on it, which is pretty cool. And then finally, or not finally, but this is a lot of updates because we did a lot here. Going down to the very basement, we set up the beginning of our deep storage area. We call it deep storage because it's at the bottom of the base. Now this bank is set to receive everything from the ore resource miner. There's a P2P connecting this yellow AE system to the back of the crafting machines, which were on this side of the base over there. So basically anytime any kind of resource or ore comes in here, it automatically gets pumped upstairs to be processed, automatically going to the pulverizers or the induction smelters, and then yellorium and draconium, because we need extra of it, is sent special to the rich slag smelters. It's being fed through a ender chest set to the channel connected to the resource miners. Just ignore this crystal chest. I was doing a bit of a cleanup of all the drawers upstairs, and so I was pumping stuff in and out of here. What else we got? Okay, so we got all of our various materials here. I managed to set up the rainbow, and then temporary drawers up here, which are holding some stuff. I have to clean these up and make them match this style of drawers, which kind of mimics the compacting drawers. And this is connected right into the ME, so we can pull anything out of this bank. And then over here we have all our ores, and again this is connected to the ME, so we can pull anything that we need out of here. We've got a terminal here just in case we need it. Move some stuff down here like our enchanter. That's not its final home, but since most of the time we're doing enchanting and we need the XP from the woot farm, we've got that set. Set up one of our liquid tanks to hold, this is Tinker's Construct Tinker Tank, to hold our lava. We're going to fill this up from the chickens, and what we did is hiding underneath here is the quantum storage tank, so the lava chickens will feed that, and then this just pumps stuff into here for the looks. What else did we do? We did lots. This is just a bit of chisels and bits storage, just because I had no place else to put it, so I just stuck it here. We're going to clean that up later. Some of you might notice that the power ball is a little bit bigger. I've been storing up some extra energy here, because when we turn those void resource miners on, they really go through the power. So we're going to look at that in a second, but first we're going to watch the cleanup of the upstairs. So it's going to be quite the process. Hope you enjoy watching that. We're going to see if we can get the replay mod going to record most of that, and see you after that. Okay, back again, and look at this. We have got everything cleaned up here. Well, almost everything. We still have our chickens. We got a special thing planned for them, so we're going to deal with those guys after, maybe in a future episode. We did move some of the chickens over here because we started running out of sand with all the concrete we were using. So they're just pumping the sand into the ME or the AE2 system, and then their waste, which will be the eggs and all that kind of stuff, is just being pumped in the garbage can. Cleaned up all the machines over here, moved our dragon egg. Oh, and you might notice that what was going to be our kind of house sitting on top of our kind of factory down here is gone. I don't think it really fits anymore with this style, so we'll put our house somewhere else. In the meantime, bed's sitting right here. Now, the reason we beefed up our power ball is so we could see it in action. So one of the other things I did was I hooked up some RF Tools remote redstone to these buttons. So by pushing these buttons, I can turn the individual power balls, or not power balls, I can turn the individual miners on. One is set to favor yellorium, the other one's set to favor draconium, and then the resource miners are just set to plain, so they'll produce kind of just general materials. I'm not sure we'll use those that often. And then I also hooked up this screen. So this screen is connected to the Powerball, and it's showing how much RF we've got stored in a percentage of how full it is, and also our usage. So we've got 7 million RF, 72% full on the Powerball. Now let's see what happens when we turn the ore miners on. There they go. So the ore miners are pulling 50, almost 60,000 RF per tick. So that's going to go down quite quickly. But while that's producing minerals, what we can do is we can pop down and we can watch what it does. So you can see these are all 0 before, and now they're starting to fill up. If we look inside this chest, we can see it's pumping it all in. And then if we go upstairs to this area, and I'm lagging or I'm stuck. What's going on? There we go. I'm lagging. We can see, oh, and here you can hear those machines going. So these are all just plugging away, pumping out the different minerals. Basically everything that's coming from the miner. We're pulverizing some stuff. I mean, we have a chicken for this, but might as well make use of the ore that we're pulling up. Sulfur, more sulfur, because that's what we need, more sulfur. What else? Oh, this guy over here. These guys should be, not you, this guy. So this guy's boogieing, producing yellowite. So we get 4 per ore, which is pretty cool. And then draconium, I think we get 4. I mean, we could do more by fortune picking. We could maybe get a little bit more, but the beauty of this is we can just leave it AFK and get more than enough draconium without actually having to do anything. Okay, so now there's a chest over here, and those ore miners back up. We probably don't have enough processing power just yet. Where is it? Yeah, you can see these are pretty full already. This is the pulverizer chest, and it's already backed up quite a bit. Put that back. So we might have to add in some more pulverizers and probably some more induction smelters, but that's going to be another time. So we've still got lots of power, so let's leave that running a bit. And the last thing we worked on, now that we've got this bigger power ball, is I went and relayed out the bottom of the big reactor right beside the cryo lab. So let's fly over there and check that out. I love the way these balloons look. Just kind of add to the overall sky block theme. So here is our reactor. Now we're going to need a lot of yellorium and a lot of draconium to upgrade those power balls. So I figured we might as well start with a smaller version of our ginormous reactor. So it's only 3 high in the reaction chamber. The final height when this thing's done is going to be 41. So we got all the layout here. The last thing to do before we can turn this thing on is to fill it up with what is this stuff called again? Gelled cryothium. So our cryo lab's been making a ton of it. Now, I'm not in the mood to sit here and bucket fill all of these, so you might see I have this machine here. Now this guy will place the block in front of it, which will then flow down. The awesome thing about gelled cryothium is it sinks to the bottom. So if you place it here, it will go to the bottom, then the next one will come on top, and so on until it's full. So what I want to try and do is do some sort of funky locomotion flying machine set up a row of these all the way down. And what they'll do, I haven't tried this yet, and I don't know if Funky Locomotion will move all three of these items without breaking something. But if it does, it'll be pretty cool. And what it'll do is it will we'll set up a redstone clock that basically tells it to move over 2, and then it will pulse this guy 3 times, which will drop 3 things of gel, and then it will move over another 2, drop 3 things of gel, and we'll keep going all the way till it gets over here. That will fill up almost all of the spots. Some of it will work, like right here. It's going to miss one of these, and I think we might have to do a double pulse right here. Actually, what we'll probably do is set it up so that one button moves it, and then the other button pulses the cryotheum to spit it out. That way we can sort of automated, sort of manual. It's going to be a lot nicer to hit the button once to fill up however many slots there are here, rather than having to do this with a bucket. Oop, Enderman, where are you? He's not going to stick around, it's raining. Got all these power taps set up. Probably not going to be enough. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to produce more power than the power taps can pull out, so we'll probably have to add a few more. But we're going to finish this in a future episode, because that's pretty much all the time we have for this episode. I'm going to fly back over here and see how much power. See, we're down 1 million RF already. It's only been running for that short amount of time. I'm just going to turn it off so I don't forget. And that is going to be it for today's episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you next time. Bye.